Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final stop of the season on the NGA Hooters Pro Golf Tour. This week, we're at beautiful Whitewater Country Club, where some issues are at stake in the Naturally Fresh Cup Championship. One issue is the $25,000 first prize. That's out of the $112,500 purse. Another issue that was resolved just a couple of weeks ago, Chad Campbell is our Naturally Fresh Winners Points champion. That has with it a $200,000 payout, another $300,000, making that a total $500,000 bonus that goes to 50 players on the Hooters Tour. Now, at this beautiful Arnold Palmer designed 18-hole championship golf course, there's some real golf to be played this weekend. You're going to be watching all the action. Stick around. We got some great golf coming your way on the NGA Hooters Tour. The NGA Hooters Tour is coming your way. From beautiful Whitewater Country Club in Peachtree City, Georgia, this is the Naturally Fresh Cup Championship, the final event of the '98 campaign.
This broadcast is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants, home of world-famous chicken wings and the nearly world-famous Hooters Girls. And by Naturally Fresh Pure Spring Mountain Water. All water is not pure. Taste the quality of Naturally Fresh Pure Spring Water. By Jackaroo Sauce. If you just got sauce, you ain't got Jack. And by smooth, rich-tasting Michelob. Beer or Michelob.
Let's check out now third round action, setting up our fourth and final round. Here's what happened.
Saturday, round 3, and everyone is gunning for the leader, John Kimball. Mark Wilson birdies 1, moving him to 6 under par. Eric Miketree also birdies 1. That moves him to 8 under. Bob Heinz began the day 2 back of Kimball. Here's his birdie at 11. Heinz, the winner in Decatur this year, can handle pressure. He follows at 12 with another birdie. John Kimball, though, had his own rally going. Here he is at 15, a 4 at the par 5. And then Kimball birdies at 17. And again at the par 5 18th. Patrick Prince had his own party going. Here's a birdie at the 12th. Prince having the best round of the day, a 5 under par round, coming into the par 5 18th. Check this out. Prince makes an eagle 3 for a round of 65, taking a 3-stroke lead into Sunday's final round.
I had a couple bogeys coming down the stretch. I made a bunch of birdies, and I'm putting well, chipping well, which is probably my weak point, but it's become my strong point. I came here a week early to practice and get ready for this tournament because I always play well here.
And now your leaderboard after 54 holes of play. Patrick Prince still hanging on at 15 under par. Heinz is in second place at 12 under, then a host at 11 under par. Miketree, Brinker, and Kimball. At 10 under, it's Mark Wilson, followed by Darren Stiles at 9 under, Jason Larson and Gibby Gilbert at 8, followed by Peter Dyson at 7, and 2 at -6, Greg Reed and Jim Johnson.
Hi, I'm Stephanie with Terra Hooters. We'll take a look at the final 3 holes next.
You know what they say, sauce sells.
Get him in there. Post it up, boys. Let's go.
There's ordinary beer, And then there's Michelob. Beer or Michelob?
People think that the Australian outback is full of young, wild ranch hands called jackaroos. Fact is, jackaroos are quite civilised. Until they grab hold of the big, bold taste of their favourite jackaroo barbie sauce. Then things can get a bit out of hand. Every jackaroo knows, if you don't have jackaroo barbie sauce, you ain't got jack.
This broadcast is brought to you by Hewlett-Packard.
Our 1997 Player of the Year, Steve Ford, is going to take us through our final 3 holes of coverage, 16, 17, and 18.
The 16th hole is a par 3, 180 yards on Sunday. The pin's going to be back right, about 8 yards from the right fringe. I think most players will hit 6 iron, maybe 5 iron, but the good play is just left of the hole about 30 feet. And then 17 is a par 4, about 410 yards. Everybody will pretty much be hitting driver, maybe 3-wood off the tee. The pin's going to be back left on a shelf. Pretty tough pin placement. And you'll be hitting probably 9 wedge into that hole. And then the 18th hole is a par 5, 535 yards. Big hitters will be knocking it on into possibly. And everybody else will be laying it up about 80 yards from the hole, and the pin's going to be back left, kind of on a slope, so it'll make for a nice finish.
Hi, I'm Jessica with Norcross Hooters, and we'll be right back with more golf action.
Finding the best bottled water can be very confusing. At first glance, all water looks the same. But if you scientifically precipitate out the solids, you discover all water is not equal. Introducing Naturally Fresh Pure Spring Mountain Water. Refreshingly pure. This naturally fresh spring water adds extra quality to the all-natural goodness of every naturally fresh product. Make the clear choice. Naturally Fresh Pure Spring Mountain Water.
This broadcast is brought to you by Rapport Composites, premium quality graphite shafts, and by Top Flight, the longest ball.
Well, after 54 holes of play, let's set up now Sunday's final round of action at the Naturally Fresh Cup Championship.
Patrick Prince lost all his 3-stroke lead, bang, bang. A double bogey at 1, and a bogey at 2. He recovers nicely, though. Here's his approach to the par 5 6th hole. He'll make a birdie here. He complements with yet another birdie at the par 3 7th. A 1 over par 37 keeps him in contention. A few groups ahead, though, Gibby Gilbert Jr. Let's take a look at his front nine, the 410-yard par 4 second hole. He'll make that one the first of many birdies to come. Now we move to the par 5 fourth hole, Gibby's third shot. He picks up 2 strokes with an eagle. And now to the 6th, this shot sets up another birdie. On to the 7th, Gibby looking for his first win out here in 1998. A 33 on the front has him only 3 back of Prince. Other hot sticks to look for, Mark Wilson birdies at 1 and 4. We pick him up at the 7th. That putt gives him his 3rd birdie on the front. He too fires at 33 and trails by only a stroke. Eric Miketree could walk away as winner. He had a birdie at number 2. We pick him up at the 5th. This sets up his 2nd birdie. He fires a front 9 34 and he trails only by 1 stroke. After 9 holes at the final round of the Naturally Fresh Cup at Whitewater Country Club in Atlanta, Georgia, here's how they stand. Patrick Prince on top by a stroke at 14 under, followed closely by Mark Wilson and Eric Miketree at 13 under par, then Gibby Gilbert and John Kimball at 11 under, followed by Darren Stiles at 10 under par.
Hi, I'm Dorothy from Terra Hooters. We'll be right back with today's pairings.
TJ and I were just walking through the park. And out of nowhere, a little boy comes up to me and says, "Can I have your autograph?" I looked around and I said, "Me? Why me?" He says, "Well, my dad and I were in the restaurant the other day and you're our Hooters girl." I love my job. You know, Hooters has provided me the opportunity to pursue my education in broadcast journalism. One day, Tom Brokaw, I'm gonna have your job. And TJ, he never has to worry about where his next bone's coming from. Come see me at Hooters.
Do you want to cut fat without losing flavor? Are you looking for a product that's all natural and preservative-free? Then get out of the aisle and get over to the fresh produce department, where all the fresh fruits and vegetables are. Introducing Naturally Fresh fat-free dressings. Naturally Fresh dressings are 100% natural. We cut the fat, but left all the flavor. Naturally Fresh fat-free dressings. The name is our promise.
Your final pairings of the day, Dyson, Reed, and Johnson. Then we'll have Stiles, Larson, and Gilbert, followed by Brinker, Kimball, and Wilson. And your final pairing of the day, Prince, Heinz, and Victory. And now let me introduce my broadcast partner, as he's been all year long, out on the golf course. Here's Gary Lee.
Thank you, Lee. At 16, Steve Pope, 1 under on his round today.
Well, Steve's won at this golf course before. The first time we played here back in 1995, talking about winners. Dickie Thompson's going to be next up at the tee, and we talked to him earlier about his game plan for Whitewater.
Probably golf-wise, just maybe, just one shot at a time. I mean, it sounds kind of corny, but it's true. You just take one shot at a time and try to hit the best shot you can on each shot and go to the next one.
At 17, the tee shot of Mark Slaughter.
Well, he's having his best tournament ever on the Hooters Tour. First time we've really seen him up there on the leaderboard.
Next up, and really hot, Greg Parker.
He's coming off of a great performance at Miami where he won going away from the field, and it was good to see Greg win. First time he'd won in 6 years, so he's still playing well.
Now the tee shot of Lewis Brown.
There's another name that's pretty new to the leaderboard on the last day, like Mark Slaughter. He's having himself quite a tournament.
We move back to the par 3 16th, the chip just off the green of Dickie Thompson.
Dickie's usually pretty good around the greens, this kind of shot. Left himself a little bit more space than he would like there.
Also chipping at 16, Steve Pope.
Not far away from that water there. That's get this ball up there on the green, Steve. Pretty good there.
To 17 now, the second shot of Greg Parker.
He's really been swinging well at the golf ball. I said at Miami, I thought he was swinging as good as I'd seen someone swing in a long time, and that one gets just off the green.
We move back to 16, Brent Winston for birdie, and he needs this one, Lee.
Out of the University of Arkansas. Wow, just grazed it. Brent, we've had a number of Razorback golfers on the tour, including currently Mike Schwartz, Greg Reed, Jack O'Keefe. He gets a comebacker there.
Now Lewis Brown in the fairway at 17.
Puts a good move on the ball. Wow, just hit the edge of the green and bounced back.
Next up, Slaughter.
Again, having himself a real good tournament, a confidence builder for a young guy to play well on this kind of course. And just like the dart in there, the green's pretty soft.
On the tee at the par 3 16th, Greg Reed.
Well, you never tire of talking about Greg Reed, just an outstanding person, getting ready for PGA Tour qualifying school.
Ahead to 17, the tee shot of Brent Winston.
They're just trying to hit it out there and keep it in the short grass. Most guys have about a 9-iron, wedge, something, second shot.
Now at the 17th green, Greg Parker for his birdie, even on his round today, just misses it right. Back to the tee at 16, Jim Johnson. This guy's on fire after 38 on the front. He's had birdies at 10, 12, and 14.
That one went nowhere after it hit the green, so he kept it right there below the hole.
The tee shot of Dickie Thompson at 17.
Really a good par 4, and again, the guys, most of them, having anything from a 9-iron to a wedge in.
This the birdie effort at 17 of Mark Slaughter.
Didn't really get that one on line. You're looking at Pensacola, Florida's Peter Dyson. Had a tough front side, a 4 over par 40. He says he's a bit superstitious.
13's my lucky number. That's obviously weird for most people, but 13's my lucky number. Always try to mark my ball with a penny on tails, and always try to use a dime on tails if I use a dime. It's just little things that I've always gotten used to doing.
Hey y'all, I'm Melissa from Norcross Hooters. Coming up next, we'll see who's leading the Naturally Fresh Cup.
What the?
Get him out of there. Post it up, boys. Let's go.
There's ordinary beer. And then there's Michelob. Beer or Michelob?
Finding the best bottled water can be very confusing. At first glance, all water looks the same. But if you scientifically precipitate the solids, you discover all water is not equal. Introducing naturally fresh, pure spring mountain water, refreshingly pure. This naturally fresh spring water adds extra quality to the all-natural goodness of every naturally fresh product. Make the clear choice. Naturally fresh, pure spring mountain water.
Race fans, the thunder of USAR Hooters Pro Cup racing roars into a track near you, so beware. USA International Speedway, Langley, Peach State, Tri-County, Concord, and more. Hooters Pro Cup is 250 laps of kicking the asphalt. In your face. No holds barred. Short track racing. Jay Fogelman, the coach Jerry Glanville, Justin Labonte, Mario Gosselin, and more lead the field in the chase for more than $2 million. For ticket information, call 800-852-7223. Don't miss the excitement of USAR Hooters Pro Cup racing.
You've heard us talk about this young man throughout the season. He is the NGA Hooters Tour Player of the Year. He's from Andrews, Texas. Let's meet Chad Campbell.
When you speak of excellence, when you speak of professionalism, you are talking about Hooters Tour member Chad Campbell.
No matter how bad you're playing, you need to, you don't let your emotions control you. You gotta keep them in check.
Campbell has had 9 top 5 finishes in 17 starts, 22 top 10 since 1994. He won in Greenville, Alabama this year. He won in Myrtle Beach this year. 3rd at Decatur, 3rd at Jacksonville, 3rd at Louisville, and the list goes on.
I had probably 5 goals going into this year, and I just thought about them last week, and I actually only achieved one of them, but it was probably the most important one, which was the points.
Chad Campbell is the 1998 official money leader with a total of $185,430.54. And of course, he is the $1.5 million Naturally Fresh Points champion. His reputation is beginning to catch on. So will he return to the Hooters Tour in 1999 to cash in on his other guaranteed $100,000?
Well, go to qualifying school and, hopefully make it to, final stage. And if I get the big card, PGA Tour card, I think, you can't pass up that opportunity, But on the other hand, if I get like full exempt Nike, I would probably come back and play mainly out here, and then in the off weeks go out there and play.
Greg Parker headed home. He's on the tee at 18.
Well, you just want to get this one down a little right or left center of the fairway there to have a good shot in. He's almost perfect, but yet in the cabbage.
And next to play, Lewis Brown.
We mentioned Lewis and Marder that really having fine tournaments, but he will not like that tee shot.
And speaking of Mark Slaughter, he's next up.
I tell you, they did a great job at Whitewater, the greens crew, in getting this course ready. Boy, it almost looked like a U.S. Open course with that rough and that narrow fairways.
Now Dickie Thompson, his second shot to 17.
Not bad at all.
Back to 16, Dyson's attempt at birdie.
Wow, just missing.
Out of the sand, that's Steve Pope and the 17th fairway.
I tell you, he took a hard shot there and made it look easy, but he did not get the desired results there.
Now from the rough, Brent Winston. And he's back in the rough. 16th green, Reed for birdie.
Fine par 3 hole over the water, and Greg takes a big putter and just taps out of South Africa. Greg Reed.
Lee, we haven't seen a birdie here yet. Johnson's attempt at birdie.
We mentioned before, played in the U.S. Open. He's from Boone, North Carolina. He made the cut at the U.S. Open, one of our only 6 players to make the cut. Played with Fred Couples in the 3rd round. See what he can do right here. Well, he picks it up, so we finally do have a birdie at that hole. Let's take a look at our Naturally Fresh Cup leaderboard. Patrick Prince is joined by Eric Maitre after 12 holes at 14 under. Then you got Gibby Gilbert making his 2nd start of the year on the tour there at 12 under, and so is Mark Wilson, John Kimbrell, and Mike Schwartz is at 10 under, and he has finished in the clubhouse. So he's our clubhouse leader.
Dickie Thompson for birdie at 17, 8 under for the tournament, 2 under today, just missing it to the right. Mark Slaughter's 3rd shot into the par 5 18th.
And he is safely in the middle of the green as we go back out now to the 17th tee to pick up Greg Reed. We asked Greg about what irritates him most on the golf course.
Bogeys and double bogeys. Other than that, slow play. I have a tough time dealing with slow play. But really, other than that, not much. I try just to go about my business and not let much get to me.
At the home hole, Lewis Brown's 3rd shot into the par 5.
That pin on Sundays at Whitewater is always going to be in that back corner there, so that's a fine shot. Good effort.
Greg Parker next to play.
Not many guys will hit this in 2. A lot are capable, but again, he leaves himself in perfect position.
Back at 16 and playing well, Gibby Gilbert Jr.
Yeah, really proud of Gibby and his play over the last 7 rounds and into the 8th round he's played since he got back to the business of pro golf.
Steve Pope on the tee at 18.
You know, you can check the leaderboard almost any time that the Hooters Tour is playing. You're going to see Steve Pope's name pretty close.
At 16, the tee shot of Darren Stiles, who's made every cut he's attempted this year, Lee.
Back on the Hooters Tour this year, won the tournament earlier in the year in Monroe, Louisiana.
Ahead to the home hole, this is Dickie Thompson.
Well, he's going to try to find the short grass. Like so many others, he does not. Jason Larson's at the 16th hole, and Jason earlier told me he has some good advice for the lovers of the game of golf.
Probably just the fact that, nothing worthwhile, everything worthwhile takes hard work no matter what. If you want something, you got to work at it no matter what, and, if you work hard and you've worked hard, then eventually it'll come.
Out of the bunker at 17, Peter Dyson.
Not quite where he wanted it.
Jim Johnson next to play at 8 under.
Jimmy again lives in Boone. His wife teaches at Appalachian State, and right there is almost a perfect shot.
Up the 18th, the 3rd shot of Dickie Thompson.
Boy. Greens really held well and got a little action there.
Now the 3rd shot of Steve Pope.
Well, it was back in '95 when he won the tournament. He hit one almost like that to win the tournament the first time it was played there.
Now Gibby Gilbert needs a good chip shot here.
I believe he'll like that. And Mrs. Gilbert watches the action.
To the par 3 16th, Jason Larson.
Right in the middle of the cup, you would say. Jason Larson coming in here, 20 starts, 16 cuts made, the winner earlier this year in Mobile, Alabama.
Here's Gibby for his par.
Boy, he's been so solid. Can't say enough good things about his golf game. And he concludes with that par there.
Dickie Thompson now for his birdie at 18. This would get him to 9 under par.
Well, he's going to finish with a final round of 72 under par, and get this tap in. Out of Peachtree City, Georgia, Dickie Thompson. Mama Reba out to watch him, and the wife, the new wife, out to watch this week.
And up next, this for birdie and a round of 70, Steve Pope.
This will put him 8 under par for the event. So, pretty good tournament for Steve.
And we move back to 17, Jason Larson with the honor.
Now that's almost a perfect drive if you want to know on that fairway. Gibby Gilbert's going to be next up to hit. Not so concerned this year about his length. Speaking of length, Darren Stiles has plenty of it. We talked to him about the best advice he's received about golf.
As far as golf, it's just take it one shot at a time. You can't think too far ahead, and you can't think too far in the past either.
Hi, I'm Jessica with Norcross Hooters, and we'll be right back with more golf action.
You know what they say. Sauce sells.
Naming our salad dressing Naturally Fresh gives us a lot to live up to. So we use only the freshest vegetables and spices. And because we add no preservatives, you won't find Naturally Fresh in the salad dressing aisle. You'll only find it in the refrigerated produce section. Naturally Fresh gives you premium quality without the premium price. We're located with the rest of the fresh produce. So try us next time you shop for fresh fruits and vegetables. The Naturally Fresh name is our promise.
My barbecue sauce has the big, bold taste that really makes barbecue taste great. Barbecue sauce.
That's not barbecue sauce. This is barbecue sauce.
Jackaroo barbecue sauce. Big taste from a big place.
To 17, Johnson for birdie.
Now this could get him to about 9 under for the event, 5 under on his back 9 today. Pretty good play in there.
And we move back to 16 with Derricker on the tee.
Well, at one time he was in far more serious contention right now, but he has struggled in the last couple of holes.
Ahead to the 18th tee in Johnson's tee shot.
Oh, we've told you all about this particular hole and how many of you seen hit the ball up there on that side and make it difficult to go for it in 2.
Next up, Greg Reed.
They're looking right down the middle of that fairway, and as long as it's in the short grass.
Now the former banker, Peter Dyson.
He's been consistent this year coming in. He had 20 starts and something like 18 cuts made. Good playing.
Back to 17, the approach of Gibby Gilbert Jr.
I'm not sure he liked that by his reaction. Let's see. Well, it's not that bad at all.
Now the approach of Jason Larson.
Jason has a brother, Garrett, who's been out here much of this season. The only brother combination we had going for us this year.
And finally at 17, Darren Stiles.
Big guy has good command of the short game, and wow. Don't say anything until it stops rolling, so he'll like that.
Back to 16, Derek Brinker for birdie.
Well, he's left himself even a lot of work there to do to get his par.
Now Kimball for his birdie. And finally, Mark Wilson's attempt at his birdie.
Out of the University of North Carolina. Played again in the U.S. Open this year, and Mark, you never want to nonchalant those. You want to take your time.
Ahead to the home hole, Peter Dyson's third shot.
The guys opting, most of them, not to try to go for that in 2.
Our leaders now on the tee at 16, Eric Miketree.
This has been such a pivotal hole in so many events, but he played a nice, safe shot there.
Next up, Patrick Prince.
Well, Patrick's never been this far before. He is right up there, the top of that leaderboard, and that's a good effort right there. Leave himself 15, 18 feet.
In the sand at 18, Greg Reed.
And let's check out our Naturally Fresh Cup Championship leaderboard. Prince and Maitrey on top after 15 holes at 15 under par. Then you have Gilbert and Kimball, Wilson and Larson. Joey Caney, Mr. Stat, keeps the statistics for the NGA Hooters Tour, and he talked about the most interesting stats he's had this year.
Right now, Mario Tiziani, when he finished hole-in-one double eagle and missed the cut by 1 shot, I mean, that's unbelievable to me, that he can play his 35th hole, make a 1, his 36th hole, he made a 2 and missed the cut by 1 shot, and had to wait all day to find out that he did miss by 1.
Lee Moore, along with Gary Lee at the Naturally Fresh Cup Championship.
And you're looking at the birdie attempt of Gibby Gilbert at 17.
Obviously, he's been rolling the ball very well if you look at his scores from all 4 rounds in this event.
Now the birdie attempt of Jason Larson.
Oh, that was tough.
I know those well.
Well, the big guy will just have the finish up tap in here. Played his college golf at LSU.
We move back to the 17th tee for Derek Brinker.
Out of Evansville, Indiana, and he won the tournament at home, actually, in Jasper, Indiana, next to Evansville, earlier in the year.
For his birdie, Darren Stiles at the 17th green.
Never really got that one online.
At 16, this is Prince for birdie and the lead.
Just leaves it a bit to the left of the hole. He is one of the best dressed young men on the NGA Hooters Tour. And today, he's playing just as well as he is dressed.
To 18, and this year's champion at Mobile, Jason Larson.
When he won that tournament at Mobile, he birdied the last 6 holes in a row in order to get into a playoff with Garrett Willis, or check that, the last 5 in a row.
Up at the green, Peter Dyson for birdie and a round of 77, and he's got it.
Well, he's not going to be happy. He's 2 under par for the tournament.
Heinz at 16, his second birdie in a row, if it goes.
He'd been having some trouble with the short stick, but not on this hole. That was that expression like, finally, I'm getting something to go in the hole. He's struggled a bit up to this hole today.
Now Gilbert on the tee at 18, tied for 5th at Doral this year.
Well, again, that's going to make that a 3-shot hole with the ball over there.
Now Greg Reed for his birdie at 18.
Good stroke there. Greg, since last golf season, lost about 65 or 70 pounds. We've been on a great conditioning program, and he says he really feels a lot better.
Eric Miketree finishing at 16. This for birdie and to reassume the lead.
Well, they never got that one online. Just put that walk on it that said, I wish I had it over. Wife Angie's his caddy, does a great job.
Now Darren Stiles at the 18th tee, 9 under for the tournament, even on the day.
Travels with his dad in the camper, and they are quite a team. His dad caddies for him much of the time.
At the 17th green, that's Kimball trying to tie the lead with a birdie here. Not going to happen.
He's 3 under on the back today. And as he finishes this one up, back at the tee at 17, we'll go back and check out Eric Maitre, and he's got a great companion in wife Angie who caddies for him.
Most influential? You know, I think my wife, Angie. She inspires me to do what I'm doing out here, and when I'm playing bad, she kicks my butt in gear and gets me doing what I need to be doing on the golf course. And she's an athlete herself, so she's been through the ropes of competing collegiately, and she knows what I'm going through now. So she keeps me rolling through good times and bad.
The second shot of Jason Larson into the par 5 18th.
Well, he went right after it, and he'll just be off the green.
Going forward in 2, Darren Stiles.
He did not like that. You could tell by the expression. That's not going to end up where he wanted it to end up, and he's in the sand. John Kimball's at the 18th, and I talked to John earlier about something important to him, like a comment from a friend.
He always told me, he said, you know how to hit the ball, now you got to learn to play golf. There's a big difference in that, and people don't understand it, but there's a big difference in hitting the ball and playing golf. And I always thought about that, and I've come to learn that there is a difference, and I think I've learned how to play golf instead of just get out there and hit it.
Here's Maitree coming into 17.
Par 4, and the pin back left, and that's going to be a tough one to out.
Patrick Prince next to play. They are seriously in a dogfight here, Lee.
Yeah, it's just a great show. I mean, what these two guys have continued to do throughout the afternoon.
At 18, the third shot of Gibby Gilbert.
You can ask Gibby about how proud he is of his dad. He's going to tell you.
And, I was proud when I was young that he, played the PGA Tour. And I want my kids to be proud of me.
At 18, Darren Stiles for birdie and a tie for 7th.
That's a good move he put on the ball right there. Told me he's a bit of a streaky putter, and so this week he's played very, very well. Out of Lakeland, Florida.
A round of 71 today. Next up, Jason Larson for birdie and a tie for 5th.
Just did not move back like Jason thought it would. Take a moment here to think about that while he gets ready to finish up.
Three under today for Larson. Next up, Lee, this is a big money putt for Gibby Gilbert.
Well, you want to get in these positions, and I'm sure that Gibby, with Q School coming up, PGA Tour qualifying school, you want to get yourself in these positions where every single putt means quite a bit. Boy, he used all the hole on that one. Good tournament.
And we move back to 17, a huge chip from Maitree.
Yeah, he needs to try to, wow, I was going to say just trying to save par here, but boy, that would have been a sensational birdie out of that position he was in. Eric Maitre, a quality guy, class guy that is the kind of young man that you really want out there on the NGA Hooters Tour. He's going to finish this up, and that's out of that position is a fine 4. Keeps himself right in there now. As Angie's going to help her husband toward the 18th green.
Now Prince to take the lead.
Uphill putt, classic position. That one never got online. Patrick just, you could tell putting his hand out, he just never got that one online. So he'll have that for his part. He has such tremendous length that it's just amazing. You look around and where everybody else is hitting 9s and 8s, he's hitting wedges and sand wedges. So he finishes up with his par. With time running out, let's update the Naturally Fresh Cup leaderboard. Gibby Gilbert's at 15 under par, so's Patrick Prince and Eric Maitre. At 14, a shot off the pace, John Kimball. He is through 17 holes. Mark Wilson is at 11 under par through 17, and then Jason Larson is finished at 11 under par.
At the home hole, Mark Wilson, a winner in Greenville this year, his 3rd shot into 18. A little bit hot, Lee.
Well, he's going to get a good roll off of this. There's Gibby and his wife as they watch the action now with his 15 under par score and see where he plays.
That's Kimball. You just barely got to touch it, but he's got to touch it more than that.
Well, I tell you, around the greens, it was really, really tough.
Bob Heinz back on the tee at 18, and watch out, that's trouble.
Yeah, he gets into the woods there. He looked like he just a little bit quick, got over that ball, just really hooked it into the woods.
Mike Tree up next. This is a tough finishing hole, Lee.
Well, it is. You got that narrow fairway. You got to stay away from the creek on the right, so everything's going to come down this side. You don't want to flirt with that Whitewater Creek on the side.
Prince trying to keep it in the short grass.
And our co-leader likes to talk about playing under pressure.
Frankly, honest with you, I don't have anything that could bother me on a golf course whatsoever. You could do a tap dance in my backswing, it's not going to bother me.
At the 18th green, here's Brinker for birdie.
Derek Brinker, usually a very, very good putter. And we talked to him about superstitions in the game of golf, and he talked about how he marks his balls, one of those.
I always mark my ball heads up with the eyes, try to face the eyes towards the hole. It's kind of goofy, but if I see a ball marked with the tails up, it gets to me. It's like I'm going to miss the putt. So I always mark my ball heads up, and if I'm playing in a social event like a scramble, I always have my team mark it heads up. So I guess that's my only superstition. And well, I got one more. I feeling like I've got the answer on the range. Anytime you feel like you got the answer on the range, and you know you don't have the answer for scoring on the course.
Now Mark Wilson for birdie, who's 1 under today.
Well, we mentioned he won earlier in the year in Greenville, South Carolina. Good putt there. 12 under par, he's in 5th place. And the gentlemanly thing that occurs at the 18th, a round of handshakes. On to qualifying school for these three.
And for these guys, who can make a birdie to win? Eric Mike Tree, his 2nd shot, trying to get it back into play.
Well, Eric and Angie check that one out.
Now Prince going forward in 2. He knows birdie will win it, so he's playing aggressively.
Yeah, he's got a 5-iron in there, and he eagled this hole the last 2 rounds he played. The 2nd, 3rd rounds he had eagle, so he'll have that for eagle.
Already chipping out from the rough, Heinz 3rd shot.
Well, Bobby talked about some of the best advice he's ever gotten in golf.
The best advice someone ever gave me was they told me to get out of the office. I went to work for about 15 months around the time my daughter was born, and my college golf coach saw me and he said, "You look terrible, and I'll even help you if you need somebody to help you raise money to go out and play again." And he did, and I think that was one of the best decisions I've ever made, and I've had a good year this year, and thankfully I've justified that decision.
Eric Mike Tree's 3rd shot into 18.
needs to get it close. Wow. We'll be right back with the conclusion of play in this exciting tournament, the Naturally Fresh Cup.
Hi, this is Holly from Norcross. Don't go away. We'll be right back to crown our champion next.
TJ and I were just walking through the park, and out of nowhere, a little boy comes up to me and says, "Can I have your autograph?" I looked around and I said, "Me? Why me?" He says, "Well, my dad and I were in the restaurant the other day, and you're our Hooters girl." I love my job. You know, Hooters has provided me the opportunity to pursue my education in broadcast journalism. One day, Tom Brokaw, I'm gonna have your job. And TJ, he never has to worry about where his next bone's coming from. Come see me at Hooters.
Back at Whitewater at 18, Prince for Eagle.
Well, he could settle the entire issue if he could make this.
It's in the hole.
Oh, gave it a good ride. About 3.5 feet past now. Well, that would now be for his birdie, but don't forget, Eric Maitre also is in a position to make birdie.
Bob Heinz to save his par.
It's been a tough closing hole for him. He's going to have to settle for a bogey at the 18th, and that's not where you expect to make bogey. That'll cost him a few dollars. And the biggest putt of the season for Eric Maitre is right now coming up. He's at 15 under par, tied with Gibby Gilbert, who has completed play. This, about a 4.5-footer downhill, will work left to right. This would really put pressure on Patrick Prince if he could make it. Well, he never got that online, so he's got about 2 feet or so to come back for his par. But the young man from Houston, Texas, when he gets over his putt, will have the opportunity and to win. Now, Eric's going to go ahead and finish up. Oh, no. No, he cannot do that. That is unfortunate for a bogey, and that will drop him down in the final leaderboard, and that's cost several $100s right there. A very disappointed Eric Maitre. Now, Patrick Prince has the opportunity to do something he has never done, and that's win a professional tournament. Obviously, the $25,000 first prize would be almost like a dream come true. Told me earlier in the week he had been writing down, you can be a champion, you can be a champion. Came into Whitewater about a week early to work. This is it for the young man from Texas. And he got it. What a win. What a way to win. A real battle with Eric Maitre, and Gibby Gilbert's over there at 15 under par, and He's going to finish second. But right there, the handshakes, and young Patrick Prince wins the biggest event of his career. Boy, what a finish. Gary, I tell you, they just, what can you say as you look at the beautiful clubhouse at Whitewater? That's that final leaderboard. Patrick Prince at 16 under par, your winner. Gibby Gilbert's there at 15, and John Kimball and Eric Maitre at 14, and Eric dropping back there after that disaster there at 18. Wilson and Larson at 12 and 11 respectively. And we'll check out some more scores from our Naturally Fresh Cup Championship, the final event of the season. Mike Schwartz and Darren Stiles at 10 under. Then it's Jim Johnson alone at 9, and 3 at 8 under, Chris Wilson, Dickie Thompson, and Steve Pope. Familiar names throughout the season on the NGA Hooters Golf Tour.
And now let's take a look at the final money. They do make a good living. Chad Campbell with 85.5. 35 rounds in the 60s will do that for you. Bob Heinz had a good year. He's in second, just over 76. Zoran Zorkic in third at almost 66,000, followed by Dyson, Ford, Medlin, all on the first page. On the second page, Dickie Thompson, Swartz, Brinker just short of 38,000, then Schmidt and Wilson rounding out the top 12 in the final official money. And on the $500,000 Naturally Fresh Points Championship, Chad Campbell is your champion with 2,827, followed by Heinz at 2,491. Zoran Zorkic in third place. There's Dyson, Ford, and Swartz to round out the first page. On the second page, you see Medlin, Slevin, Karen, Pope, Kimball, Larson. They're all going to get big paychecks. They make some money out here on the tour, no question about it. We take you down on the course now. Lee is out there with the winner, who is holding a very large check. Lee?
Well, it's almost been a tradition this year on the Hooters Tour that we have a brand new winner for each event. Only once this year have we had a young man win twice. That is our points champion, Chad Campbell. But in continuing that tradition of a new winner almost every time, Patrick Prince, just 2 places to my left here, is your winner at 16 under par. And Kobe Brooks is the tour director for the NGA Hooters Tour. I know you're proud of Patrick. I know you're proud of the young men that play this tour, Kobe. And again, we have a great young champion. I know you have something here for him that he's going to find handy and useful.
Well, yes, we do, Lee. We're proud of Patrick and his play this week. He was here earlier in the week, and he stated that Even Par would win the tournament, and obviously Even Par didn't win it. So congratulations on a great round today. And on behalf of Naturally Fresh Foods, the NJ Hooters Tour, and Hooters of America, I'd like to present this check for $25,000 to you, and hope to see good play out of you next year.
Thank you, Kobe. Appreciate it.
Patrick, I know that you were thrilled, bud. You had to hold it together. The final round here did not get any easier.
No, it didn't. I started off with a double bogey start, and I was a little worried for a second, but just try to hang in there and take it one shot at a time, like my dad always says, and I was fortunate enough to come out on top.
I know this has been sort of an emotional time for you. I know that you wanted to dedicate this tournament to your mom, to your brother, to your dad, and to your family. I know, and knowing you, you've always wanted to prove to people that you could play, and I think you proved a lot, and I think there's a lady up there today looking down saying, I'm proud.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it.
Well, our champion is Patrick Prince. Again, he's out of Houston, Texas, went to school at Northeast Louisiana, birdied the final hole to get the $25,000 first prize. Gibby Gilbert at 15 under finishes second. Now, on behalf of all of us from the NGA Hooters Tour, the America's Cheerleaders, Kobe Brooks, and our champion, Patrick Prince, thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll see you again next week.
This broadcast is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants, home of world-famous chicken wings, and the nearly world-famous Hooters Girls. And by Naturally Fresh Pure Spring Mountain Water. All water is not pure. Taste the quality of Naturally Fresh Pure Spring Water. By Jackaroo Sauce. If you just got sauce, you ain't got Jack. And by Smooth, rich-tasting Michelob. Beer or Michelob.